Tereus looked at the blanket again, struggling to focus his eyes.
Oh, it's a forest scene. It's nice.
Philomela waited, watching him intently in the darkness. He stood up and staggered out of the shed, still holding the blanket. She heard the lock clang shut.
Blanket cherry, he will carry chaos cloaked in calm. There's no guarantee, only waiting. He's disappearing. He's disappearing. And don't fail me, and don't fail me, and don't fail. And don't fail me, and don't fail me, and don't fail. And don't fail me, 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 and don't fail me.
By the time Tereus had walked up the front steps of the house, he had forgotten what he was holding. He sank down into Procne's rocking chair and fell into dreamless sleep. The blanket remained clutched in his fist. While the sky was still dark, Procne rose to feed her son and noticed that the door of Tereus's room was open. He had not come home. She crept down the hall and out to the porch. She hadn't been this close to his body in months. His breath was warm and right. As soon as she was standing over him, she saw the small blanket in his fist. Slowly, so slowly, she eased it out of his hand. He stirred, but did not wake. She faded back into her room, her breathing quick and shallow. Procne looked out at the weaving, a simple forest scene, and knew immediately that it was Philomela's hand. But she couldn't understand how that was possible.
A sudden rush of silence is heavier than sound. A storm was raging in these woods, now it's quiet all around. My heart is underwater, and time is slowing down. My feet are planted on the earth, but I cannot feel the ground. The sky is blinding, as blue as I have seen. The ties bind me are breaking. Weightless, as I lay my body through the trees. Weightless, through the nicest stars I can see.
The blanket was folded and sewn awkwardly, with a strange and ragged edge. It called to her. She slid a razor in the seam and opened it, and a second weaving unfolded before her eyes. She read the images upside down and out of order. A tiny shed with a bar across the door. A man with a knife. An empty, gaping mouth.
My life was turning over like waves crash on the beach. And all the things he did to her are washing over me. Sky is blinding, as blue as I have seen. The ties that bind me are breaking. Ooh, weightless, has about my life the truth. Ooh, weightless, who has as far as I can see. Ooh, weightless, has about my life the truth. Ooh, weightless, who has as far as I can see.
Procne could feel her understanding in her sinking stomach before the thoughts were formed in her mind. She shook her head as if to prevent the horror from entering. It was far too late for that.
Somewhere she is waiting. The end is closing in. I feel gravity unraveling. I am lifted by the wind. Sky is blinding, as blue as I have seen. The ties that bind me are breaking. Ooh, weightless, has about my back the trees. Ooh, weightless, will not rise as far as I can see. Ooh, weightless, has about my back the trees. Ooh, weightless, will not rise as far as I can see.
With shaking steps, Procne walked behind the house. Her eyes lighted on a tiny shed that stood 100 steps away. Her heart seized. Barely breathing, she lifted the heavy bar and opened the door to find a woman, pale as a ghost, blinking from the sudden torrent of sunlight. Procne swept Philomela up into her arms and swung her into the cool air. The two sisters were one for a long, sweet moment.
He told me you were dead. I don't understand. Why were you in there? Did he lock you in there?
Philomela began to weep silent tears.
Please, say something.
Philomela opened her mouth to reveal the bloody stump of tongue that Tereus had left there. Her only reply was a hollow whistling sound, a hum of air looking for a net to catch it. Procne stepped back. Relief had hollowed her out, and suddenly her heart flooded with rage.
300 days she lived here in the dark. Her skin 1,000 black and purple marks. 600 lines scratched on one cabin wall.
she seemed to expand, to rise. Philomela followed her, panic surging in her chest. Procne picked up Tereus' shotgun and paced in front of the house. Suddenly, his silhouette appeared in the upstairs window. She raised the gun to her shoulder.
No door, no light, no call.
Will shrivel white or bleed him dry.
Tereus staggered down the stairs and out onto the porch. He was covered in blood. He turned to face the sisters, and suddenly they saw that he had been holding the baby in the window. Procne had tried to kill her husband, but instead, she had killed her only son. She opened up her mouth, but she could not scream. She took the baby's lifeless body out of Tereus' arms and sank to the ground. Her grief was black and bottomless. It was then that Philomela realized her mistake. She had thought that Procne would save her and that they could be whole again. But not even the gods can live backwards. What's done will always be done. Philomela lifted her eyes and began to pray that she and Procne could vanish into thin air.
None of this is happening. I'll wake up if I can scream. I open up my mouth, but all I do is breathe.
And at that moment, a god did see her, a different god, with kind eyes and mercy in his heart, happened to glance down from the heavens. He did not know how this poor creature had come to her misery, but he heard the words that Philomela could not speak. He was listening.
Feet are stuck to the ground. I cannot run, I'm frozen now. I can't escape, I cannot even make a sound.
Tereus looked at the body of his child, and then he looked at Procne. His rage erupted inside him. He picked up the shotgun and pointed it at Procne's chest.
I'll drag you down. Oh, oh, and I'll drag you down. I'll drag you down.
Procne opened her arms and stood in front of his gun, imploring Tereus to end her grief. Philomela, wordless, begged the gods to help her disappear.
And I'll drag you down. I'll drag you down. Yeah, I'll drag you down. I'll drag you down.
Procne's body vanished. Tereus was stunned. He looked at his gun, then again to the ground. Nothing. Philomela was weak with relief. Then, with a deafening crack, Tereus was changed. The god turned him into a bird. He became a pelican with a long beak like a knife. He stumbled and fluttered, but before he could think to fly, Philomela grabbed him by the neck. He tried to twist out of her grasp, but her hands were strong, and she dragged him around the house, threw him into the tiny shed, and locked it from the outside. Above her head. The god had changed Procne into a nightingale. Philomela's prayer had been answered. Her sister was free.
The wonder of the change. I see her lifted by the window, fading into space she's faded. Now she has escaped. Her pain is gone alone, and all she has to carry is her heart.
Suddenly, she felt herself lifted on the